Okay, so I don't even know what day it is.
One day.
Yeah, no, I wanted to know the date. So it's October 23rd, 2020. Alright, so anyway, I said I was going to try and make homemade extract. So that's kind of what this video is about. Try and keep it light, people. Although I'm in panic mode because of the rhetoric that I'm hearing and the hypocrisy that I'm hearing with my government in Canada, federal and provincial, with their pushing of these vaccines. Ontario Premier Doug Ford today announced that he's going to be using the military to inject everybody, people. I mean, like, this is not a good thing. There's already rumors that the military's in BC. We know they're building these camps with public tax dollars. Everybody's staying quiet on it. Right? We know in the United States they have 30,000 guillotines from the Obama administration, and that was the last count, and it could be more for all we know, right? And that was paid through tax dollars, right? This is what the public is paying for, as that government in the United States is pushing the military. This is too orchestrated for it to be just something random. It's all written by ghost writers, and they're just reading the script, people. Okay, so I'm like, okay, so what? How are they going to force me to take these vaccines and my grandkids? And are they going to be held to account if I come down sick? My immune system, people, is already in overdrive. We see that. Right? My nose has been running for the last hour because of the dry air, dust. You know, I'm using eye drops, right? I just took off my sweater, put on my sweater. It's not because I'm sick. It's because my immune system is fighting off histamines, dust, pollens, whatever, right? Overworked. You know, I work in the rain, and I'm getting older. And okay, so they're going to try and inject me with something. And if I come down sick, people, right, and my health continues to deteriorate, what are they going to do? Blame age? Or are they going to take responsibility? They're not going to take responsibility, people. That's the thing. They didn't take responsibility for Uncle John, what they did to him. They didn't take responsibility for what they started to do with my family in 2003 under the BC Liberal government. They didn't take any responsibility for what they did with Ciera beginning in middle school, once she turned 13, up until the time she died. No responsibility there, right? They didn't take no responsibility for what they did to Andre, and how they did it, why they did it, and the consequences around their actions. They didn't take no responsibility for that. They sure in the hell didn't take no responsibility for Mari and what happened to him at the time of his birth. And, you know, then not taking no responsibility. I mean, we haven't even served the government yet, people, but there's nobody standing beside me helping me with this. So at the end of the day, they're not going to take no responsibility for ShaMay. And if they do, you know, by then I'll be so sick with their poison in my body, right, that what? What's it going to mean? Nothing. Because they're not going to take no responsibility for what they do to me and anyone else around me once they try and force whatever it is that they're trying to force. Poison. Right? For politics. To launder money, people. To launder taxpayers' money. Everything that they did to my family, they used taxpayers' money to do it. Right? With bonuses added on. to the dividends that were coming in through white-collar criminal activity. You think that's changed? No, it hasn't changed. It's just, instead of 8 people, 9 people in a house, they've expanded it to 5.1 million people in terms of British Columbia, Canada. So anyway, I'm just waiting to get sick. Now, people sick and die sick. I'm waiting for my government to infect me with something to make me sick so that I will just die. That's where my mindset is at. Simply because I don't have the right to say no. Because I can see how they're maneuvering the population into that position. And if you say no, what? They're going to lock you up and put you in a fucking camp? Okay. That's good governance, right? So if they don't get you one way, they'll get you another way, basically. So I'm trying not to dwell on it at this point, but... And that's the thing about the psyche. If you think you're sick, you're going to end up getting sick. Right? That's why they bring in all this mayhem and dysfunction and anger and hurt and misery and to import it into your DNA so that you become sick. Well, they're just making a whole lot of people sick. And not one of these individuals are taking any sort of responsibility for the sickness that they spread within society. I don't know if my immune system will fight off their sickness, people. It's already fighting off everything else that's contaminated with their chemtrails and processed foods and just whatever it may be. Stress. Right. And now they want to inject something into my body and say it's going to make me feel better? Please. Stick it up where the sun don't shine. Anyway. I mean, do you know what it's like to live trying to just know that you're just going to be made sick? Somebody is after you to literally make you sick. And make your family sicker. Because we're already sick with the stress that they've created for us. And now they want to make it even worse. With more stress. And put God knows what into your body. And then, when you kick off, after suffering from the sickness that they injected you with, they will take absolutely no responsibility because that is the history of the government in Canada. Welcome to the new Congo. I've been saying it how many years? I wasn't far off the mark. Anyway, we know I'm working on Andre's walnut art. I know, it's taken a few years. But we're past the halfway mark now, okay? And assuming that I don't get real sick people and die, I'd like to think that, within the next course of the year at some point, I'll have Andre's little walnut art up for online sales, I guess you could say. I haven't quite figured out how to do it yet, what I want to do. I know what I want to do, but things take time. Okay, so we know that. I know, in my head, I'm building up stock, right? We've got the walnut stock, right? I want to, do a few other things, incorporate children's school books and homeschooling books, and I want to incorporate, little projects, craft projects, little pre-packaged craft projects, that kind of stuff. And I wouldn't mind incorporating capers. No. Not capers. Vanilla extract for fun. Okay? Now I don't normally use a lot of vanilla extract because I don't really have a time to do a lot of baking and stuff, right? You know, maybe after the yard's a little more, you know, with all this, everything in the ground, the bricks, and, you know, when all that heavy duty, and you know, right, is done, maybe I'll have time, because I want to teach Andre more how to cook. But in the meantime, this is the bottle I've been using. You can see, it's almost empty, right? I like pure vanilla extract. What do they have in here for ingredients? Oh my God, I can't see. Hold on. Okay, this is what they have in this for ingredients in this. Water. That's the first thing that they have. And normally when they list their ingredients, it's in by priority order. In other words, water is the main ingredient. And then it's ethyl alcohol. And then vanilla. And then propylene glycol. Okay, so there's how many ingredients? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there's 4 different ingredients in this. Now I just bought a new bottle, different brand. Okay, but the bottle itself was $18, people. Okay, just for that. All right. And that was for 125 milliliters. Okay. Now that's standard price for this. And then Ciera, when Ciera was out and about, you want to give him his bottle there?
He already drank it.
Did he? Oh, okay, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm listening to something here.
Someone was telling me
All right.
yesterday that someone in their family was heading out to a casino here in British Columbia, and that they were able to get in. And I'm like, a casino, but churches, you're not allowed to meet now.
There you go.
You could have a church, some huge churches in our area.
You'll see,
people.
59 milliliters.
You can't have 50 or 100 people in a huge place.
Water.
That has, capacity.
Organic alcohol. Organic vanilla beans.
Crazy.
Extractives.
That churches are not
water.
Using, for example, the Emergency Act, and
okay.
And say no.
I don't know how much this cost because Ciera brought this. I just know that this one here, right, 125 milliliters cost $18. And most of the ingredient that they list first is water before anything else. And they don't tell you what kind of vanilla bean they use. This one does. Okay.
In sense fear right now. First of all, we didn't know if the virus was going to have the legitimate numbers that were predicted in the beginning.
What I've done
Millions of people would die.
is I've bought
isn't the case.
these here,
In fact,
right? Madagascar vanilla beans. This is grade A. Right? I bought 2 of them. Okay, they came in vacuum sealed. Now this one here, because I was mucking with them last night, because I ordered some more, right? Only I ordered different kind. I broke the seal on this one last night as I was trying to figure out what I wanted to order, right? Because I don't know what I'm doing, but anyway. So I decided I'm going to do this today. That's why I'm doing this video, because I said when I start working on making the vanilla extract, that's when I'll start working on another video. Okay, so this is the one we're going to start with today. I'm not going to open this right now because it's nicely vacuum sealed. Now this one is a Tahitian vanilla bean. It's different, right? And it's
and it shows up in these cases.
I don't know.
Wilcom Wright,
I don't know what grade,
talked about,
but it comes from Indonesia.
Children,
This one comes from Madagascar.
if we are
Right.
exposed to parent
Right.
figures that are overpowering.
This one comes from Indonesia. Has a slightly different flavor. This is what I ordered last night in bulk for now, right? Because these ones here, the grade A, you need them more for like actual cooking. You don't necessarily use the grade A ones for making vanilla extract, and I'll show you why. Right? These ones have a little bit of different flavor, and they make good, apparently, vanilla extract. But I've got different ones like this coming in the mail, so I'm going to wait on this one before I open it. Okay? And I'm just going to work with what we have here today. I don't know how many is in there. I think there's 10. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to start it. And we're going to talk about it. But I want to hear what these people have to say here. So before I do that, I just want to show you these jars. Okay, remember I told you I bought those ones off of Facebook. Now, I wiped down the boxes, right? I taped them up because, you know, they're old boxes, right? You can't find them with lids anymore. But I like them like this, okay? This is just some of them that I bought. Some of them are already downstairs. You can see I washed them. I wiped down the boxes with a little bit of soapy, bleachy water, right? Just to take off the mildew, I guess you could say, any dust and whatnot, right? So they smell much better. And I wash the jars basically just because, but of course when you're ready to use them, you'll do it again, right? And depending on what you're going to do, you're either going to sterilize them or you're not, right? So anyway, you can see how nice this is. So now these ones here are going downstairs. Hold on, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. What you hear in the background is Dr. You-Know-Who. Okay, now, I don't know, people, like, I don't know how these so-called health professionals, anyone that's working in the so-called health industry, that promote terrible things, isolating old people. Like I said, Uncle John was the tip of the iceberg, right? So that those around him can basically steal his money. That's, if he had no money, people, they would have left him out on the streets. Okay, they would have treated him no different than those individuals, those types of people, those types of individuals treated Ciera. Okay? Right, even though Ciera had massive amounts of medical issues, like actual physical, right? Physiological, physical, right? Issues. The healthcare system ignored it. If anything, they probably committed pharmacare fraud. We have Ciera talking about that in her own videos with me, right? On more than one occasion, people, because of the way she was treated as she was going in and out of the healthcare system, as they were kicking her out of the hospitals, right? As they're telling her in one sense, she's going in for, you know, biopsy or going in for an operation, and then it's canceled. And then they said, here's your clothes, put them on and get out. And as she's walking out, they're calling in Miss Chorney as other people are walking into the room. Now, I believe Ciera, people, okay, because I've seen what these hospitals in British Columbia, Canada, with the Lucy's running around in the halls, what they do to human beings. I've witnessed it. My family has. Now, this Dr. You-Know-Who, she's worse than a bad social worker. Okay, because everything that she's trying to do and is getting away with, she does it under the disguise of so-called health care in a physiological sense, but nothing with an emotional, you know, right? If you think you're sick, you're going to convince yourself that you're sick, right? They don't care if people get sick emotionally, psychologically, intellectually, right? They don't care. Because that's part of the game. That's how they wear you down. That's why they come in and take kids out of the house illegally through wrongful and illegal apprehensions. That's why they come in and, or they wait for them like spiders in a web for the old people to end up in the hospital. And once they're in the hospital, if they've got money, that's it. They're going into long-term care under lock and freaking key, right? We know that scenario, okay? Because, you know, they want that money, right, to support their systems, their employees, their pensions, da-dee-dee-da, right? They don't care about the emotional attachment that Uncle John had with this family, his family, for 35 years and more, and that he actually raised 23 years himself, the kids, 5 of them, right? And grandkids, Andre. And they just took it all away from him because they wanted to know where his superannuation life insurance policy was. Right? Okay? That's not healthcare, people. This is the same crap, all right, that the government is doing, but only they're doing it on a very, very large 5.1 million people scale. Okay? How can they possibly say this is healthcare when they're literally terrorizing millions of people in this province, in line with every other so-called politician with their health, whatever they are, social workers, right, that completely focus on the vaccine and nothing but the vaccine. Basically, that's what they're pushing. That's the envelope that they're pushing, right? They're bribing you. They're coercing you. They're intimidating you to take the vaccine, because if you don't, you become the criminal, you become the savage, right? You become the nutcase, you become everything. That's what bad social workers do, people. I'm telling you. That's what corrupt healthcare service workers within the public union sector do. Right? Running around accusing me of stealing John's money after John lived in the house for 25 freaking years. Right? Was in the family for 37 years. They're the ones who were calling up ShaMay asking where the superannuation life insurance policy was, because John was having a nervous breakdown in Victoria when he woke up. Because they drugged him, put him in a freaking hammock, put him in a fucking vehicle, had him in the bowels of the ferry, and then when they got off to the other side of the ferry, they ran straight to the emergency room so that the healthcare, the public taxpayers could pay for him to be admitted into the emergency room. And you know what came out of those bitches' mouths? Look how we found him. No, people, they found him in a temporary care facility that he was not allowed to leave.
In January and February, because
they gave him a flu vaccine a week or two before they fucking kidnapped him. They were illegally drugging him without his knowledge, telling him it was nothing more than a calcium pill.
One aspect of our influenza surveillance is what we call sentinel.
He was in the healthcare system for what? I can't remember. I think 39 or 49 days? They didn't find him like that. They made him like that.
Testing sites are also testing.
And then they kept him drugged up.
Doing surveillance across the
right? To keep him quiet as they were running around looking for his money. Transferring over this and transferring over this. Committing fraud under the Criminal Code of Canada. And what did the government do? They covered it up, people. Because they knew that they were going to come in with this bullshit. Because it's healthcare. This is not healthcare, people. Okay? People have to determine what healthcare really means. Okay, so anyway,
There's a global influenza surveillance network that are
No, I'm not suicidal, people. I mean, they like me to be they would only wish I would go down that road. It would save them a lot of freaking problems now, wouldn't it? But I'm far from that, okay? But I am definitely stressed out, right? Slightly paranoid with food crises, right? Because everywhere you go, everybody's talking about it.
we are quite confident that we are looking for
Because these
not seeing a lot of
bastards are enjoying themselves in just sticking it in a little deeper and a little hard, just, you know, right?
that we have in place to prevent transmission.
Except for the ones that are like them.
It is transmitted in very similar ways.
Just licking their lips. Chomping at the bit. Right? Just drooling people.
Into our long-term care homes every year.
That's what these individuals are doing.
Has symptoms in long-term care. It's
I watched,
influenza as
okay? I watched a BBC.
There's pretty
I'm going to add the link.
influenza surveillance network.
But I don't expect you to see the same ads as me
Understand
in British Columbia, Canada. We're along the water, where the ports are. I don't expect you, if you're sitting up in freaking Idaho, to see the same ads that I would see.
Latest information
Anyway, this little
organizations and outbreaks, which you can find
What is it
at
called?
.gov.bc.ca.
documentary was about little African children, little babies, being stole, just kidnapped off the streets or out of the hospitals and sold on the black market, whether for sacrifices, they say it, right? Literally. Well, some of these children are going for sacrifice, or to hand over to barren women trying to keep their marriages intact. The point is, babies are being kidnapped and sold. And they're being sold and kidnapped by healthcare workers who, at the end of the documentary, don't get charged, don't go to jail, still have their jobs.
Yes, the intent is
And that's not including the street hood rats going around stealing all the babies that are sleeping out on the streets because of the number of homeless people out there in Africa. Okay? So, this is a documentary by BBC, right? So they come in with their little advertisements, and what do they flash in front of me? 2 times, 3 times. No, come to BC. Oh, it's a port, you know, the port city, right? Right? With the big shipping containers. And they're showing the big shipping containers. And the coastline of BC, where all these shipping containers are coming in. And you know what? I'm telling you, everything that I freaking know and believe, honest to God, to the bottom of my soul, people, to the bottom of my soul, I'm telling you, these individuals, they're trafficking human beings. Okay, and I've said this before, British Columbia, Canada is a big, big province with a lot of forest.
Restrictions for all of the sports, no spectators.
Anytime these guys open up their mouths talking about a commodity this and supply this and blah, 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 and transport, and all you can think about is human beings being trafficked to fill that insatiable appetite. That's all I can think about, people, because that's what's happening.
When we started to move to what we call phase 3, and it's really recognizing
Right?
that there's probably a gradation. In
Why would they show vulnerable little black babies,
that allows
right,
some
being kidnapped, whether they're being born in hospitals
but also recognizes that,
or whether they're being kidnapped right off the streets,
that it's not possible.
and then go into a
The
advertisement
getting together
of
and
shipping containers
the way that they
coming to BC. It kind of makes me think of Wayfair.
that people are going
Everybody knows that story,
opportunity
right?
to spread the virus.
Because that's how sneaky these guys are. They talk in sign language, right? We know that. We know they operate in the dark. They don't do anything legitimate when it comes to being decent decent individuals. We know that they're not decent. We know they're devilish. We know they're evil. We know that they're sadistic, right? We know that,
Then we can look
right?
with
We know that they feed off of negative energy, right? Right? And they enjoy pain. Well, not them being in pain, but their victims being in pain. Right? So it wouldn't be unreasonable. And we know that they're addicted to money. They'll do anything for money. They will go to any extreme for money. They will hurt no matter how many for money. They don't care as long as they get what they want, because that's just them. Right? So if you got babies missing in Africa en masse, nobody's going to jail, right? Everybody's turning a blind eye for it, but yet you got this big ass advertisement, not once, not twice, but 3 times, coming in a 45-minute video, how these shipping containers are coming in on the port and being transported around because BC is such a great place to be. What do you think's inside those shipping containers? Considering the subject at hand. Right? That's all I can think about. And then, to make it worse, right? At the end of the, I'm going to add the link to this video. Now, whether you see those same ads as me remains to be seen. Right? Because it's selective programming, right? They target you with whatever they think they might upset you with, or whatever they think that you might be interested in buying, right? Or whatever they think you think that you can get away with. So if you're one of them, and you want a little black baby from Africa, and you got the network to the port to get a whole shipload coming in on a fucking container, as everyone out in British Columbia that's like them hides it, what do you think's going to happen? What do you think's going to happen, people? So the one that was reporting on it, a black woman, as if that makes her a savior, as if it makes her 100% correct because she's advocating with black babies. What does she do at the end of the frickin' video? She takes off her mask and she goes, how do they do that? And I'm like, there you go, bitch. You just showed your 2 fucking colors, because that's how they communicate through these videos. That's how they advertise their products and their commodities. Right? And of course you can't prove it. It's all hearsay. Right? And if you notice, there ain't nothing for YouTube to freaking strike me on, because I'm allowed my opinion, people. I'm allowed my opinion, and my opinion is that the internet is infested with these things that exploit the population for their benefit. Hold on a minute. But you see, the government doesn't care about any of that, because the majority of them, if not all, are them. They're like those individuals. They've been walking among us for a long, long time. They used to do everything in the dark, way down deep in Area 51. Down, how many hundreds of feet down into the ground. But they're not below ground anymore, people. They're out and about running among us. Okay? Right? Ciera and ShaMay are the perfect example of what we're dealing with. Uncle John was purely money and easy to take advantage of. But ShaMay, that's a whole different can of worms. And so is Ciera. But it points the way in terms of what type of individuals we're actually dealing with here en masse, in light of what they're trying to do right now, under the disguise of health, as they're driving more than half of the population crazy as they're driving more than half of the general population crazy. And they don't care if you go bankrupt. They don't care if you get rid of yourself, right? They don't care if your family falls apart, right? They don't care if you have an early heart attack, right? Because of the stress for some people, right? They don't care about any of that because that's not healthcare. I don't know what that is, but to them, it doesn't mean anything. Because at the end of the day, if you kick off, they're just going to blame COVID. Because that's what they've been doing, and they've been getting away with it because nobody can fact check what they're telling us to be 100% true as they're coming in with their documentaries from here, from there, nobody is specific, with their subliminal messaging, with their promotion of Satanism, with their product sales, or at least a suggestion of it, right? When that woman took off her mask and stuck out her freaking tongue, that was it for me, people. It was bad enough that I was listening to that documentary to the point where it started disturbing me as I was watching these British Columbian advertisements to bring in shipping containers from God knows where into our ports. Knowing what I know in terms of how these individuals treat human beings, especially if they're vulnerable. And then to have that woman, that individual, finish her documentary and then and I'm like, yeah, okay. Now I know why you did it. That's how I feel about it, people. So that just adds on to the sickness. Because you know what they say, ignorance is bliss. So if you don't know, it doesn't bother you. But if you know certain things, and you become more and more knowledgeable, whether through experience or whether through education and research, it starts to make you depressed. Especially if you can't fight back because you happen to be one of the victims to that. I don't even want to call it a political system, people. We live in a two-tier society. Okay? They don't see us as equals. They don't treat us as equals. We are a commodity to them. One way or another, by any means necessary, as a bad social worker would say. That's what they said with Uncle John. Oh, he's going into the long term, or he's going into temporary care ward, into like an old folks home or whatever. By any means necessary, as they were plotting and scheming to ship him over across the water after they drugged him and made him pass out. By any means necessary. Damn rights they stole his body. By any means necessary, and then labeled it health care as they went looking for his provincial government life insurance policy that he canceled at the age of 65. And when they took him, he was 76. But he was the tip of the iceberg of what is going on today. And nobody is fighting back. So much for making vanilla extract, eh? So anyway, we know I've been wanting flour. I already got a few bags kicking around the house. It's all good. Almost everywhere I go, I'm hearing about a food shortage. It's coming. It's coming. It's almost here. It's gonna get worse. Right? Blah, blah, blah. I'm good. Except I wanted to make sure I had flour. And so what I've decided to do is, well, I already did it. I already did it. Was I a naughty girl for doing it? Am I going loopity-loop? I don't know. I'm under a lot of pressure right now. So anyway, I got a hold of Fieldstone Organics, certified organic grains. And I placed a $278 order. Okay? Now mind you, the shipping was a bit expensive. $68.84. That's something that I'm noticing with this, whatever the government is doing. They're making us pay more for everything because some things you just have to order it online. And once you order it online, you pay more. But because I'm dealing with 22 pounds of barley, okay, that's what I ordered, okay, 22 pounds of barley, and that's barley, okay, and then I did 11 pounds of buckwheat whole, right, and then I did buckwheat in the hull, right, which you can grind up in a mill. I'm going to show you what I bought last year on Facebook Market, which grinds grains by hand, right, to make my own flour in the event that I can't find flour, considering what's happening, right? I did that for 22 pounds, and then I got corn, dry corn, 22 pounds. I got oats, 22 pounds. I should have bought another bag, but I thought I'd try this first, see what I get, and then if I want, assuming that they still have it, I can order more. And then I got this, it's called triticale, which is another grain used for breads that you have to grind it up, right? That was 22 pounds. And it cost $69 to deliver it from where it's coming from. Okay? And then, because I'm doing this stuff here, right? This is what I'm going to start with today. Okay? I'm going to end it on this and make it fast. Okay? I'm going to probably do, well, I don't know. You put 2.5 in each jar. You fill it right up with the vodka, and you let it sit. This has to sit for at least 2 years. How long have I been collecting Andre's walnut art? Assuming that I'm still alive in 2 years from now, it's going to be some fine vanilla extract. And then, by then, I should have my website going for Andre's walnut art, and I'll figure a way to incorporate that into whatever I'm working on in regards to the foundation and just the whole 9 yards, right? That's the goal. Because I sure in the hell don't need 12 jars like this for myself, unless, of course, I want to start fucking drinking myself to my grave, which I don't plan on doing, people. Although I'm sure my government would like that. And then, if I was to do that, then they'd come running in. Oh, you're mentally disturbed. You're a bad nana. You can't control your alcoholism. You're a nutball because you got brain damage from alcohol and blah, 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 blah. You know, you don't make no sense when you're drunk, right? You seriously got an addiction problem to alcohol, you know. Can you hear it? In that situation, mental health is a priority to their advantage, but it's not a priority to them if it's a priority for us in the situation that we're finding ourselves in, having to pay out all this money just to be able to ensure that we can make bread for our family, people. So the benefit to this, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, Judy, what the hell are you doing? Wait till the kids find out about this one. Right? Because I got another batch coming. Okay? This is just one batch. I'm dealing with 2 different companies here. Anyway, and I'm like, okay, just calm down. You know, you got to look at the benefit of it. This is like, you know, you're getting into a whole different kind of way of cooking, right? In terms of making your own bread and grinding up the kernels yourself, whether it's corn, whether it's wheat, whether it's buckwheat, whether it's barley, whatever it may be. You're grinding it up and you're taking that flour, which is more nutritional than what you would buy in a bag, and then put it in storage, right? And I'm like, okay, so there you go. You're not losing. You just have to make sure you grind it and use it. So that's the next hurdle, right? I don't have to buy an electric mill or anything like that. I'm going to, with this video, I'm going to go get the big thing that I have. And I'm going to show you, I can do this. So I'm going to try, when they come, to incorporate it into my week, I guess, and teach Andre, right? And if it looks like British Columbia, Canada is going down the tubes, right? And before the freaking grains disappear in a month or two, I can always order a few more buckets that will get my family through that, well, till Armageddon, people, right? A lot of people are going to, I don't want to say die from this, but yeah, basically, they're not going to survive this. They're already not surviving this, people. And the government doesn't care. That's the point. Right? If we have mental issues around what they're doing, they don't care. But if we had mental issues around something that, like alcoholism, for example, and it gave them a means to come in here and do what they do best, so that it props up their superannuation life insurance policy and their ministry, then yeah, they're gung-ho for it. Right? I'm mentally unstable. Right? They'll be coming in here like a dirty fucking shirt. Right? But they don't care if they put everybody on lockdown and scaring the pants off them and slowly but surely having the food disappear in the province in one of the richest countries of the world. They don't care if medical kidnappings happen, right? Murder, cover-ups, right? Snuff movies, luring vulnerable individuals that they basically neglected for years through their healthcare system to come into a terrible death and then have their family denied access to their body for 19 days. Do you honestly think they care? No! But if I was an alcoholic, oh, they'd be banging on my door. Let us in. Fuck, don't even let us in. They'll just kick it in, people. Okay? So why is there that disparity? We need to ask ourselves, why? Why do they want 10,000 more alcoholics? From bankrupting businesses, from people having to foreclose on their homes. Huh? Why? Because it benefits them, only them and nobody else but them. Right? It only benefits them. Am I gonna get striked for this? What? Because you doctor, you know whose voice was in the background for a few moments? We wouldn't want to document Miss Chorney being responsible. I could have taken that $278 and spent it on something else. No, instead I bought grains that I can use my hand mill to grind up to ensure that my family has bread. Because of the mental trauma that my government is placing upon myself and my family, and have been doing it since, what, 2000? They came in on 2000, and by 2003, that was it. And they've been circling ever since. And whatever they got away with in all those years, they've now applied it to 5.1 million people. And everybody's just going with the old okie dokie. Because they're hoping that they can fall under the radar. And they're willing to sacrifice their loved ones just so they can what? See, I never sacrificed Uncle John. I'm still fighting for Uncle John, people. But I sure in the hell don't hear nobody else fighting for none of those old people out there that are being held captive. No, I don't hear one. And these freedom fighters, they're sure in the hell not fighting for the old people. They don't fight for anybody except themselves. Basically. Because most of them are like them. Pay attention to what you're watching when you're watching these videos. Pay attention to the freaking advertisement that comes in. Pay attention to these things and start connecting the freaking dots, and then you'll realize there's more of them than us. And if there isn't, well, they're the ones who spend public tax dollars to do what they do. And because the court system is corrupt, nobody can hold them to account, and they know it. And they like to swarm. And they walk and talk with forked tongue. Okay, so anyway, we got this coming in the mail. And then I'm ordering from a different company, because that's not enough. Right? I'm ordering from a different company 2 buckets that can stay in storage for 30 years. As long as I don't open it. Right? And then I'm getting 2 bags. One with red wheat. And another one with white wheat. They're 50-pound bags each. The buckets are, I don't know, 46 pounds each or something like that. By the time I get it shipped to my house, it's gonna cost me like $500 people. Thank you, British Columbia, Canada. Thank you, Doctor You Know Who. I like spending money like this. I think it's grand. Because I know you wouldn't want me to spend it on that. Your priority is for me to get depressed and go out and drink myself to death. That is the priority of the British Columbia, Canada government. And when you drop off the grid, they're not going to acknowledge what they did to you and your family and your loved ones. Hell no. They're just going to blame you, saying you were a nutball who was an addict to alcohol and you did it to yourself because you were depressed. When I die from all this stress, do you honestly think my government is going to take any responsibility? No! Am I being emotional? Overreactive? Yes! Am I being theatrical? Flamboyant? Yes! Because it's serious, people. So serious that I spent $1,000 preparing for the mayhem. And it all because I wanted a few bags of flour. You go to the grocery store, you're lucky to find the flour. Well, I don't need to worry about flour anymore. I took care of that problem. Does that make me No. Not at all. Is the government mad? Yeah, I'm sure they are. So anyway, Okay? I'm like, okay, well, I guess you're going to be going into more health food. Right? Right? It's not a bad thing. Right? Might even get my kids involved. Right? Before you know it, my son go get himself a food mill, be making his own little bread every day. Or once a week or something. Right? Might be more economical. I don't know. I don't know. I just know it's backup. And if other people do it just because they want to have better quality of living in terms of eating healthier, right? Then I'm not going in the wrong direction with doing what I did. But I shouldn't have to go in that direction. That's the point, people, especially if you're poor like me. But you see, the government doesn't care. They just don't want me to get sick. They want me to die, but they just don't want me to get sick. So they're going to give me the vaccine, and then if I die, they'll just say, oh, well, you know, she was sick. It wasn't the vaccine. Why should my body have to fight off a vaccine when I'm already fighting off enough of what I come into contact every fucking day in my life? On top of this ongoing stress that's been perpetual, which has been known to cause illness in people such as my socio-economical group. Okay, so I guess we'll start with this one first. Let me get some scissors. It smells like my son is making some chili or spaghetti or something, which I have decided for peace of mind as therapy before I actually need it, and then for convenience, these size jars, being that I've got a whole bunch now, over the next 3-4 weeks when I get extra time, I'm making myself at least 12 jars of homemade chili. Doesn't that sound good? It sure does. And I'm going to can it. And then when Andre and I want chili, I can just open up a jar. What do you think about that? And that's only because I can, because I actually have the jars. And then I ordered some Tattler jars, or Tattler lids. Tattler lids? Being that, you know, we don't know if we're going to be able to buy lids in 6 months from now. Now, mind you, I have a few, but the thing about Tattler lids is you can reuse them over and 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 over forever. So I'm just testing my waters with these Tattler lids, because I did another 200 and something on Amazon between ordering more of these and then ordering lids. Plastic screw-on lids for these. I got wide mouth, I got regular mouth, and I bought 1 or 2 sets of Tattler lids just to try it, right? As a backup, like that extra wheat in the buckets that can sit in the bucket for 30 years if I wanted to. I bought the 50-pound bag to start using right away. With some of it, I'll probably vacuum seal, put them in paper bags, and then probably vacuum seal, although they recommend that it breathe, so I don't know. Okay? I'm sure everything that the government wouldn't want me to do, considering what they're doing and calling it healthcare. Right? So how many do we got here? Now, the thing about this stuff is, you go onto YouTube, boy, you can sure smell it. You go onto YouTube, I don't want to break these bags because I got other ones coming that I'm going to make a whole big batch when it gets here, right? This is just our first little try on this, right? When you go onto YouTube, everybody says, get Madagascar beans, grade A for your vanilla. Well, you know, you don't have to do that because, first of all, grade A, the only difference between grade A and grade B is that grade A has no blemishes. It's like, you know, going to buy apples. You got the shiny ones that have no blemishes, and then you've got the other pile that came from the apple tree that are actual apples, right? Without, you know. So grade B would have blemishes in them. So you could use Madagascar grade B which it would technically be a little cheaper, right? To do this. Because when they're grade A, like this one here, these are grade A. Yeah, you see this one here is a grade A gourmet. That's for the eye. So that when you serve your meals, it's just for the eye, you know, to make it like that shiny apple. Okay, it's no different than a bee outside of a bee might have a crack or, you know, might be a little open there or something. But here it's nice and streamlined. That is the difference between grade A and grade B from what I can determine. And then you have a different brand to choose from with what's called Tahitian, right? This one is a grade, I don't know what grade. This is a grade B, right? Which apparently is good to make vanilla extract with. So anyway, I think I ordered a whole bunch of these more. They were a little cheaper, right? You know, I'm not trying to get into manufacturing vanilla extract. I'm just trying to be a little creative here and then try and incorporate it into Andre's walnut art as a gift for support of whatever it is that I incorporate into that whole situation when that time comes. Right? You could choose from walnuts, like the actual nut to make crafts, or you can do the walnut ink powder, right? Or you can do the walnut leaf powder, or you can do like these little stems that you can make for like crafts. You know, I want to do other little projects. You know, I'll have some homeschool books in there to pick and choose from, right? And I just thought that maybe one day, you know, maybe one day I could do a couple of little vanilla extracts. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far. Right? But that's the direction I'm going in. Someplace that my government wouldn't want me to be. Because don't forget, this is what they want. They want you to be depressed, drown your sorrows, and then when you die, right, your body becomes available to whatever nefarious reasons people are capitalizing off of, and then your family becomes more vulnerable for the same cycle to happen over and over and over and over and over again. As they call it healthcare. As they call it healthcare, people. Just remember that. That's healthcare. So, let me go wash my hands, and then I'll come back, and we're going to crack this baby open. Now, I got a beer that's been sitting over here. Oh, I don't know. It's been like on my counter for like 5 months. Just there. My other birthday beer from, what, a year and a half ago is still sitting in my bedroom. Right? And, I did buy orange juice, but I don't know if I want to start drinking right now, people. That's not my mission. My mission is to make sure I have wheat and those kind of things, oats and buckwheat and just whatever, so that in the event that things get really bad for people like within my economical bracket, all right, you know, I can kind of maneuver myself through it, assuming that they don't inject me with something that actually kills me, and then they're going to blame me for it, people. That's not psychological terrorism. No. That's not psychological warfare. That's not being overbearing and coercive from a government's point of view, right? Or anything else that they want to cast on you, because it's in the name of healthcare. Okay, let me go wash my hands. Hold on. Okay, so now we're going to try and stay focused here. So there is no hard, fast science around making vanilla extract. It all depends on what you want. So when the other vanilla beans come in the mail, right, what's going to happen is I'm going to go on the inside of this so I get where it's nice and clean, okay? When the other ones come in, I'm going to make more, but I'm going to change the ratio to alcohol to vanilla beans to get a different result. Plus, I think I'm going to go off and buy some spicy rum and try a batch of that as well. Okay? Because, right, there's no hard rule around making vanilla extract. But we're going to just start with the first, basically, I guess you could say, recipe from a YouTuber. And I'll provide the link, right? Because I'm not trying to take credit on this myself. Okay? In terms of what she does and how I'm going to do it now. This one here is going to take 2 years before I can say it's done. Assuming that I live 2 years, people. But that's not mental trauma. That's not mental terrorism. That's health care. So, she recommended, do you like how I do that? I flip between subjects. With some of this stuff, you just have to take it with a grain of salt. Right? You know? Ward off those evil spirits. Okay. Wax paper. That's what she recommends, because you don't want the alcohol touching a metal lid. I don't even think you want the alcohol touching a plastic lid. Definitely, you don't want it touching a metal lid. Now, like I said, I ordered lids. I ordered little white plastic lids for this size jar. And I ordered a batch for the wide mouth. Just for around the house, whatever. Right? I ordered the white ones for these jars so that when my beans come in, I'm going to use those. With or without this. Because I plan on using the big ass bottle. And then if I need more, I have more. Because I have a bartering stock too, right? Okay, but I'm not trying to like get too gung-ho with it, because I'll just end up giving away hundreds of dollars of vodka and vanilla beans. But we know I have a mission for this stuff. Now, whether I get to the end goal remains to be seen. Okay, so I guess you shake your vodka. Okay, give it a good shake. Alright, shake it up. And then you try and open the bottle. Oh, I don't know if I can open the bottle, people. I'm going to just, this one here. Andre walked by these vanilla beans and he goes, they smell so good. He says it smells like vanilla ice cream. Oh my God, people, I don't think I can open this. I don't know what it takes to open this. Maybe you have to break these little clippy things. There we go. Oh, it smells actually pretty good considering everything. Yeah. Okay. And then you take 2.5 vanilla beans per 500 milliliters or 1 pint, right? And you put them in your jar, but you have to slice the vanilla bean a little bit to open it up so all the little vanilla bean seeds come out. It's dark in here, and I think I might need to change these glasses. Hold on. Okay, so anyway, I don't know. These are my computer glasses. These fluorescent lights, how long have I been talking about waiting for this guy to come and change these things, people? He keeps telling me he's coming, but he never does. It is so hard because of the spectrum, the light spectrum, right? So anyway, I can see better with these ones here to cut these. So I'm going to now cut them. You just slice them open. You don't cut them in half. You just want to slice them open. Okay, after we get our booze in our jar, then we're going to just end the video because you already know what I had to say. Basically, and anything else I have to say, I'll say it now. As I do this, okay? So you just open it up a little bit. Right? Now don't forget, these things are going to sit in the jar for 2.5 years. Or 2.5 years. 2 years. Okay, I'm going to do... This is what vanilla bean looks like. If you're wondering. Like a little paste. Right? And these ones here are going to sit in this jar for 2 years. And then I'm going to do a 6-month batch when I get my other beans coming. And I'm also in the market for jars, but you know, I can only spend so much at one time, right? Here's a nice thick one. Right? And I'm already like at my $1,000 mark. Those are my lids. $1,000 this month, people, just with grains, basically. And a little bit on Amazon when it comes to lids and caterpillar lids and that kind of stuff. Right? And vanilla beans. Right? You're probably wondering, well, how can she do that? Well, first of all, I'm going to pay just probably the very bare minimum on my bills this month. Nothing extra to bring down what is owed to me, and like in one terms of what I owe out, right? So that's how I'm going to compensate for this overspending, because mental health is unimportant to the provincial government of British Columbia, Canada. That's not health care. Only when it benefits them and they can use it against you, that's when it becomes important. But if it's you and it's important to you, it doesn't mean nothing to them. Like I said, they couldn't care less if you were drinking yourself to death. Just as long as they can come in and capitalize from it. Right? As long as it benefits them, they're okay with it. If it's a symptom to what they're doing to you, they ignore it. And I do feel very sorry for those people out there that do drink and struggle with that issue in light of the sign of the times. Because I can only imagine. Well, I don't need to imagine. There were alcoholics in my family. My mother was an alcoholic. My uncles were an alcoholic, okay? So I see what alcoholism can do. But why a government would want to encourage it, I don't know. Other than it benefits them. And that's the point of this video. outside of making vanilla extract. Right. So what we're going to do is we're just going to use these beans, which are grade A, which technically I could have went as far as a grade B for what they're being used for, because by the time you're done after 2 years, you're not going to see them looking like this. Right? Now I've already washed these jars, so they're clean. You don't have to worry about disinfecting them because the alcohol will do that for you. Right? Okay? This isn't canning 101 in a pressure canner or in a water bath. This is dealing with straight. Oh shit, I forgot. That's actually very tasty. Oh my god. That is so mild, people. Doesn't even taste like booze. I forgot that I took off the lid. So when I went to grab it, I spilt some on my counter here. But this is 40% alcohol. Do you see? 40%. And it's so mild tasting. Like, I'm surprised. Like, very surprised, really. That's tasty. I can see why people would get addicted to it. Right? Especially if alcoholism is in your DNA. Through social engineering. Okay? And then what happens here... Oh yeah, I'm just going to use them all up right now because I've got another batch of something coming anyway. I bought 50 of them. But I didn't buy the that gas star. I bought these ones. I bought this, so I got 50 of those coming in, so I can make a bunch more. And then after I've done all that, then I might just do another small order of these ones and do another batch. And then as things are coming, then I'll bottle them up into different kinds of bottles, right? And what do you call it? I don't know. Do something with them. Right? Some of them will be done in 4 months. Some of them will be done in 3 months. Well, no. Some of them will be done in 4 months. Some of them will be maybe done in 6 months. Some of them 2 years. When you want it sooner, if you want it in 6 months from now, you have to add in something like 5 vanilla beans. Right? Just to get that flavor. Whereas if you do it this way for 2 years, it seeps for 2 years, you use less vanilla beans. Right? And each vanilla bean gives its own flavor in terms of brand and where they're grown from. Right? And if you use different types of alcohol, like a vodka or a moonshine, 99.9% alcohol, or a spicy rum, which in my travels I will go out and buy spicy rum just to try it. Why not? That beats drinking myself to death as I'm being psychologically abused under the facade of healthcare. Right? You understand what I'm saying? So this gets me 4 jars. That's got to sit for 2 years. And then what you do for the first, I think it's the first month. First couple of weeks anyway. You have to shake your jar. Well, you don't shake it, but you just tip it once a day. And then after you do that for the first week or 2 or whatever it is, right? Then you do it once a month for 2 years. Okay? So now we're going to fill this up. I don't know how many jars I'm going to get. with this small bottle. But that's one. See, that's not going to even get me very much. Oh, I might have to buy more vodka. 2. It didn't even get me to the 1-inch mark. So we're going to have to open up the other bottle. Hold on a minute. You see, Amari can't burp very well on his own. Right? So I have to sit him up. Right? You know, put him on my lap and sit him up like this. Like really sitting up. And give him time to burp. Right? It's just the way it is. So now, if you notice, he's not fussing. Because he had a burp. Right? Now, there's no water, no glycerin, none of that stuff in here. Just straight up vodka, 40% alcohol, and delicious grade A Madagascar vanilla beans. So this is primo stuff. And it's basically going to ferment for 2 years. And based on what I'm doing here, and in light of what's coming in the mail, I can see that I'm going to have to go out and buy some more booze. I don't want to forfeit my, what is it called? My bartering booze. No. Or in case, you know, things get real bad and somebody gets cut, we need to be able to disinfect our wounds. Right? Because our governments sure in the hell won't care. They'll be long gone by that time. Right? They'll go back underground from where they came from. That's what they'll do. Okay, so that's how much is left. Now this actually tastes pretty damn good considering everything all said. So I'm going to give myself a little swig here. This is my little Christmas drink. This is where Grandma gets naughty. Everybody has a grandma who says, oh, no, I don't drink. Not me. I don't drink. But I'll have a little Christmas drink. And then before you know it, Grandma gets tipsy. Now, I did buy orange juice for this, but let's just do it straight up. Ooh. I would prefer orange juice with it. Okay, so now that that's done, I'll show you. I guess I should wipe the rims. Right? Do you see? Okay. I know it doesn't look like much, but after 2 years, like I said, it's going to be primo stuff. So let me get a clean paper towel just to wipe the rims a bit. And then we're going to put on the lids and then we're going to end this video. Hold on. Okay, so I've decided to calm my nerves. There's that beer that's been sitting on my counter, honest to God, for like 5 months. If you notice, I just washed it off because it had dust all over it, right? And I'm going to use this beer as a chaser for what little bit I have left. Okay, because I'm not going to open up the orange juice. Maybe tomorrow I'll give to the kids. But other than that, I'm not drinking, right? I'm going to put this away and I'm going to wait for my other beans to come in. And I'm going to budget in another bottle or two of this size, right, in the next little while. Because my beans are coming in from, where are they coming from? Somewhere in the States. And they're really fast. They're this good company The Vanilla Bean Kings, they deliver really fast. So anyway, so I'm going to go off and buy some more vodka and that spicy rum. Because like I said, I don't want to get up into my food storage bartering booze or emergency disinfectant. Right. For this little side project that I'm doing. Okay. To help build on Andre's walnut art. Because you can't just have walnuts to sell. You gotta have other things. So I thought this might be interesting. Right? To try. Or, I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm not worried about that. 2 years is a long time to wait for a product to cure itself. Right? But I am going to make some that within 6 months, they'll be ready. Or 4 months. It just requires more beans. And I'll do videos around that as well. And of course, nothing is stopping you from going off and doing it for yourself. Right? I'm just, mental therapy, I guess you could say. So here, maybe I'll crack this beer open now. I don't want to mix it in with my vodka. I'll just sip on that little bit that I have there. But I will start drinking my... I actually like beer. I just can't... I like my brain better. And it doesn't take much to get me. But it also doesn't take much to get me dehydrated too, right? And I can't afford to get any more tired than I already am, people. And that's what booze does. It's actually a depressant. Just remember that. Right? I don't feel so depressed right now. I feel very empowered with my my wheatlets and my corn kernels and my barley and my buckwheat and I like to try and see how I'm going to sneak that one past the kids. Wait till it gets delivered. They'll be like, "Where are you going to put that?" Oh yes, I was supposed to show you my mill, so I got to go get that. So, okay, so then we've got our little, right? So I wipe the rims, okay? And then you put your wax paper on, okay? And then you put on your lid. Again, I will provide the link to the video where this information is coming from. Okay? You can watch it for yourself. It kind of inspired me. So, I'm trying different kinds. Now again, I got some coming in the mail, so eventually I'll be using those. Right? Probably with, I guess, wax paper too. Alright. Almost done. This is nice. I like this, people. I hope I'm around in 2 years to see it. Yep. I hope I'm not sick. Laying up in some hospital with my government having the freaking SWAT team guarding the door so nobody can come in and witness how I'm being treated. But that's my imagination station, right? Even though it already happened to Uncle John, even though it's already happening to tens of thousands of people across the United States and Canada, with the old people being, deprived of their families in the last days of their lives. Nobody to verify how they're being treated. Nobody to verify, you know, to witness how they're dying. Nobody to verify shit. And if that isn't psychological warfare, I don't know what is. But that's healthcare. Because it benefits them. Not you, not your loved ones. It benefits them. Okay? So, I'm going to just show you for now what I got. And then I'm going to go get that grinder thing that I have. Which when I bought it, it was from a Hindu lady. She was Hindu. And she said she didn't need it anymore. For whatever reason. I only paid $50 for it. And boy, this thing is heavy duty, man. And she said she used to grind spices and you can do wheat and stuff with it. That's why I bought it. I felt so lucky that day when I found it on Facebook, people. No regrets. So hold on. I'll show you this. Do you see? Right? There we go. But this is what we're featuring. Look at that. Oh, yes. And then, once you've done that, okay, then you just go like this. Okay? You don't have to do very much. What it does is it just starts to open up the vanilla beans because, remember, you sliced it. Right? And you do that once a day for a week or so, or two. Okay, that lid's no good. I have to change this lid. I thought I'd try it. It didn't work. It's leaking onto my hands. I can feel it. Right. So I'll change the plastic, you can see. Right. I'll change the wax paper. And I'll just put one of these lids on for now. And then when my other lids come in the mail, I should have enough of them to change these lids. Okay. Whew. Okay, let me go get that grinder. Okay, so this thing is like so heavy. It's called a domestic grinder. Okay. I don't know. This fell off. Right? So anyway, I guess it goes on there. I don't know. My landlady would probably know how to use this thing. I mean, it can't be that hard to figure it out. I don't know. I'm sorry, wandering eye. Right? You can see. This thing is huge. It is so heavy. Oh, you can't even move it. Like, this is like, I don't know. I don't know how many pounds, but it's very heavy. So it's not like, oh, sure, drop it on your toe, right? So it's not like I can't use it for making flour. 1 cup at a time. Right? Isn't that how you do it? Right? Because to buy those are done now. So I'm going to get labels, right? I'll just label it, the date, right? And put the due date on it. So I'll put date and due date and the type of bean that I used, right? And maybe the type of vodka at what percent? 40%, right? They say 35 to 70%, but I don't know. I don't know if you can buy a 70% vodka in a liquor store, right? I'm almost done this video now, right? So when I bought those wheats and whatever, right? It's not like I couldn't do something with them because I have the tool to do something with them, right? I plan on just paying the bare minimum on my bills this month. I might even call up 1 or 2 bills and say, look, I can't make my payment because I bought wheat right, for my family in the event of, and it will have to carry over to next month for a double payment to cover my losses because, you know, I'm overreacting. And of course, that type of mental trauma is insignificant and doesn't warrant acknowledgement in terms of how a government can influence your household in a negative way, especially if you react to that negative influence in a positive way in terms of, well, $700 worth of wheat kernel, corn, barley, oats, buckwheat, and some other something that's kind of like a rye, but not quite, right? And you have enough to get you through for over a year, and you can feed anywhere between 3 to 9 people if you wanted to. Or if you had to go off and to buy a mill that's motorized, they're like $500-600. I got this thing for $50. You see? I don't know what they cost to buy new, but I feel very, very, very blessed to have this right now, considering all things said. And now that I've got all this wheat coming and other grain products, I have no more need to go off and buy flour. I've satisfied that need, people. I don't need to anymore. Not until I'm halfway through what I've got in terms of everything. And the bright side of all this is I'm getting into more organic grains, and we're going to get more creative with making our own flours and our own breads, whether they're pizza dough, flat bread, crepes, bread, artisan bread, French bread, whatever bread, sourdough bread, whatever bread you want. I mean, right? Everything that you know who, Doctor Who, wouldn't want to see. Do you believe I'm getting tipsy just from that little sip of vodka and a few sips of beer? Now, mind you, I haven't eaten today. And I haven't had a drink in over a year. Never mind 40 proof. And honestly, I can kind of feel it. It's already making me warm. Right? Yeah, it is. It is, people. In the old days, right? As my kids were growing up, right? You know, I never was a drinker, right? But once in a while, you know, I'd go out and I'd come home tipsy or, you know, and my kids, right, they could tell, right? Oh, Mom's tipsy, eh? And then, of course, they'd bum rush me. Mom, can I do this? Mom, can I have that? Mom, right? And, you know, you're tipsy, right? And like, when my family was alive, like my uncles and my aunts and my grandmother, right? You know, they'd come together at Christmas and, you know, everybody would be sitting around the table. I'd be the one doing the dishes. I'd wash the dishes for 12 people. But they all be sitting around drinking, and of course Grandma, you know, she's sneaking in a little drink, getting a little tipsy, right? Everybody's laughing, and the big joke of the day was the horny chornies. And because my uncles were car salesmen, and my Auntie Jerry, you know, she was an accountant, certified accountant, and she managed hotels and stuff like that. So they were really interactive with people, right? Especially my uncles, because they were like top notch at the top of their game when it came to selling cars. The number one dudes in the province, right? And so, of course, they had really funny personalities, and they'd always crack jokes. But the biggest joke among the Chorney family was the horny Chorneys, right? You know, it's just crack joke after joke after joke, and horny Chorney, just going on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And of course, Grandma, you know, she's sitting there getting a little tipsy. Well, this is little Grandma getting a little tipsy here, because I'm considering everything. Like, seriously, you see, I didn't have very much there. I'm already starting to get tipsy. I can feel it. That's how fast it hit me, people. It was good. From the stress that the government doesn't consider to be a health problem because it doesn't suit their political agenda. Now, if I was drinking all the time, being really obnoxious and irresponsible, then they would take that as their opportunity to come in and rescue everybody because of the mental part of it. Right? What I mean, they talk with forked tongue. I don't know how to, you know, they're so psychologically twisted with everything that they do. And they've had so many years to do it. And unlimited resources in terms of public facilities and public dollars and shady courthouses and just that kind of stuff. Nothing stops them. So anyway, $1,000, well, 700 and something just in flours to make bread, basically, of different types. And then, of course, oatmeal. And the thing about these berries that are coming in with the first batch, well, wheat berries, well, I didn't know. I got 2 different companies, right? But like the oats and all that and just whatever, right? Whatever, because they're all coming in grains, right? You can sprout them too, right? You can make porridge. You can sprout them, have them in your salads. And this company that's coming first is organic, right? You can make breads, you can make flours, you can put them in your soups, you can do all kinds of stuff with them. So anyway, that's basically what I did today. I was kind of being rebellious, right? I thought, do it now while you have an opportunity, because you might not have that opportunity again. And even if you did, there's no guarantee that when you get there, the product is going to be available, because some things are already starting to disappear from those types of distributors. They don't have everything in stock. And if we keep on this path, it's going to get worse. And people need to ask themselves, how the hell does that relate to healthcare? Because it doesn't. Right? This is beyond healthcare, so just keep that in mind.